This video is sponsored by Surfshark.
So, Danny, you and your little friends want to hunt ghosts.
When Danny Phantom dropped on Nickelodeon back in 2004, it probably baffled kids and parents alike that they started airing a show about fighting dead people, but, for children. It's not too much of a stretch this day and age, but for Nickelodeon's first action cartoon, tackling themes such as morality and the afterlife is a pretty bold move on Nick's part, even if the series creator did try to backtrack this idea years later, stating they were just monsters from another dimension. But the show itself embraced this idea and even gave a few backstories for some of these evil spirits, with quick glimpses into their previous mortal lives before they became ghosts. I'm your bro Fro, the bro with the fro, and today we're going to be taking a look at all the canon deaths in Danny Phantom. Joining me today is our fellow Discord bot tender, fellow YouTuber, and Danny Phantom fan, Duncan. Why don't you start us off with our first example?
Hey Fro, thanks for having me. Some of you may know me as Danny from Discord, but my real name is actually Duncan. To be clear, we are only going over the ghosts that we can absolutely prove that they were once alive in the show, whether they are a human or animal. We will not be covering ghosts that have backstories only based on speculation, but ones that we can showcase that embrace the original intended nature of the show. We will start off with the most obvious example. Sydney Poindexter. Sydney is from the 5th episode of the first season called Splitting Images. A spirit trapped in a 60s style section of the ghost zone manifested after his previous life in high school, Casper High. Danny just so happens to receive the same locker that Poindexter used to have, which was rumored to be haunted by his spirit in revenge for being bullied to death. Poindexter's backstory is made fairly obvious and clear throughout the whole episode, as it is one of the main driving forces of the plot. He is also the only non-adult confirmed death that we have seen in the show. Argument can be made for Youngblood being the youngest, but unlike Poindexter, Youngblood has no provable backstory.
Continuing to the next episode, What You Want, we meet Desiree, another ghostly antagonist who bears the power to grant wishes with a seemingly infinite capability. Like Poindexter, her backstory is laid out pretty bluntly in this episode. She began as a harem girl who eventually won the heart of a sultan. The sultan, infatuated with her, promised to grant her all her heart's desires, including a kingdom of her very own. However, the sultan was actually married, and when his wife found out about his affair, she brushed her from the kingdom, which eventually led to her death, brokenhearted. As a reflection of the mistakes of her mortal life, she travels around granting wishes to others, similar to a genie.
Bitter Reunions. The 7th episode of the first season, and the introductory episode to the legendary vampiric antagonist Vlad Plasmius brings us to our next confirmed death, although this one is a bit brief. The Dairy King is one of the first ghosts that Danny encounters that isn't evil or has any violent tendencies. Instead, he is spending his time haunting Vlad's castle, although he creates no real conflict with Vlad and is even refusing to help Danny defeat Vlad when trouble breaks out during Vlad's reunion party. His death is confirmed as a picture of his mortal self is hanging in Vlad's castle and is even acknowledged by Vlad himself.
Moving on, we find ourselves with not another human, but an animal, showing that any intelligent life in the Danny Phantom universe has the potential to become a ghost upon their death. This death comes from the 10th episode of Danny Phantom, Shades of Grey, in the form of a green puppy that can enlarge in size. Cujo was a guard dog for Axion Industries, the company owned by fellow Casper High student and ghost hunting rival of Danny, Valerie Gray. The plot of the episode revolves around Cujo trying to reobtain one of his old dog toys from his mortal life. The squeaky toy from the human world that is hunted down by a dog from the ghost zone, along with the acknowledgement that Axion had upgraded their security system since moving on from guard dogs, confirms that Cujo started off as a living, breathing animal.
If having a dead puppy in the last example was a bit too extreme for your likings, then I'm really sorry for you, because right now we're gonna talk about a whole fleet of dead animals. Skipping ahead to the 17th episode of the first season, Maternal Instinct. Danny and his mom, Maddie Fenton, face off against Vlad's ghostly pack of woodland animals. These woodland animals were not only killed and hunted down by himself, but experimented on as well. Vlad also tries to manipulate Maddie into leaving her husband Jack Fenton for him. The confirmed death of these animals can be proved through the fact that their pelts are shown hanging on Vlad's walls as trophies. prompting the animals to turn on Vlad, much to Danny's advantage.
What's up guys, Hershey here. The Fentons have developed special ghost hunting technology to protect themselves from the spirits of the dead, but you can protect yourself online with this video sponsor, Surfshark. Surfshark encrypts all internet traffic sent to and from your device and ensures that your IP address remains hidden to make sure nobody can see what you do online. In addition, they also block ads, trackers, malware, and phishing attempts. And unlike other VPN services, you can use it on as many devices as you like, all at the same time. Whenever I need information, we get Horace to teleport all over the multiverse in our documentary style series and beyond. But Surfshark allows you to access data such as movies and TV shows from your favorite streaming services, even if they are not normally available to watch in your area. Danny Phantom not available on Hulu in your country? With the simplified interface, even Dash Baxter could use it with ease. Use the link in the description below along with the special promo code INKTANK for 83% off and 1 extra month free. Now, back to the Ghost Zone for some more creepy conversation. See ya!
Let's jump to the second season of Danny Phantom. The 14th episode of that season, Beauty Mark, builds upon the character Dorothea. After making cameo appearances in episodes every now and then, it's when she gets her own central episode that we find out more about her past and identity. According to Sam's research, Princess Dorothea was alive during the Middle Ages, most likely somewhere European. Her mother was extremely controlling, refusing to grant her the freedom she desires. This restrictive nature froze her area of the ghost zone in time, unable to move forward until Sam had interfered and changed the perspective of her and her people.
The next and 15th episode of season 2, King Tut introduces us to Hotep Ra, a mummy-like spirit. In his life, he was a servant but had a hunger for greater power. He believed that Danny's best friend, Tucker Foley, was the reincarnation of his master, which, may I add, could count as another confirmed death. He began his ghostly conquest after escaping from his coffin, which are used to mummify significant people upon their death.
These were all of the 100% confirmed deaths in the Danny Phantom series. While we'd like to mention other ghostly characters like Ember, whose backstory may be salvageable through the lyrics of her song Remember, or the lunch lady from the very first episode of the show, there isn't enough evidence for us to prove they are dead people as well, although it is strongly suggested.
That's correct, Fro. At first, the show was very open to the idea that ghosts were actually dead. In season 1, episode 15, Maddie even says the line,
"Get your hands off our duly elected leader, you odd manifestation of ectoplasmic energy and post-human consciousness!"
The fact that this line was written, approved and aired as part of the show could be all the evidence you need to prove that the ghosts in Danny Phantom really are dead. But as the episodes progressed, we start to get less and less information about where each ghost comes from. And it doesn't help much that in the 3rd season the villains start to become very wacky and incomprehensible, with little to no thought put into their backstory at all. But for more information about that topic, you should totally check out Kuro's collaboration with the Alpha J show on the rise and fall of Danny Phantom. Thank you all so much for watching, and thank you Fro for having me on this episode. If you want to see more of me, you can check out my Twitter and YouTube in the description down below.
Alright everybody, it's been real, but I'm going ghost. You can stay up to date on our projects using our social media and Patreon, and join the Discord to talk to other passionate fans. Don't forget to check out our crossover comic featuring Danny Phantom 5 years later, over on kurotawebsite.com. Until next time, I'm Fro, peace, love, and afros.
I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back, tell me I'm garbage. I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression, it's all that I wanted. The phone and affection, I summon and dub it. Cause bitch, I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems, I solve them. I run through the money, the pressure be calling.